Hello students, sources of studying history, grade 10, unit 1. So today I am going to discuss about the certain matters regarding this historical sources. So do you know, when we study history, we have to refer certain sources. If you want to collect historical information, we have to go through certain historical sources and get the information. So the information should be trustworthy, and the writings and various creations which provide information about the past events are called historical sources. So while using these historical sources, while using this certain information and creations, we can gather information about certain historical events, the historical records. So the historical sources can be divided into two: literary sources and archaeological sources. So literary sources, the books and the documents written in different time periods. You can refer the books, and all the written documents are the literary sources. And the archaeological sources are the relics, for example, the relics, monuments, coins, inscriptions, and certain ruins can be considered as archaeological sources. From both literary and archaeological sources, we can collect information regarding the history. We can read the books and gather certain information, and also by considering the certain monuments, certain coins, the time periods of the coins, the time periods of the inscriptions, the ruins, so we can gather a lot of information by using these things. So the local literary sources. So literary sources also can be divided into two sectors: local literary sources and foreign literary sources. So local literary sources as well as the foreign literary sources are used to collect information about historical matters. So for example, Deepavansa, you have heard these things in your previous lessons, Mahavansa, and the Sandesha Kavya, certain Prasasti Kavya are the poems written in order to appreciate the people, poets of appreciation. Hatan Kavya in ancient times, when they go take part in battles, they are singing this, they are reciting this Hatan Kavya in order to get the encouragement. The soldiers, the people in the battlefield are encouraged by reciting this Hatan Kavya, and certain important battles are appreciated by this Hatan Kavya. So from these things also we can gather historical information. These are the literary sources. So there are certain books written in different eras of the country. So in Anuradhapura era is a very important historical era which existed in Sri Lanka. Bodhivansa, Thupansa, Dhatuvansa, and Saddharma Ratnavaliya. These are the historical records. These are the literary sources which are composed during the Anuradhapura era. And in Gampala period, Nikaya Sangraha and Rajavaliya, those things belongs to the Gampala period. Books written in the Kotte period. Most of the Sandesha Kavya were written in the Kotte period. Sandesha Kavya, you know, Salalini Sandesha, Hansa Sandesha, Gila Sandesha, those are most popular Sandesha Kavya. Those things are written in Kotte period. While referring these items also, we can gather information about the historical matters. Hatan Kavya and Prasasti Kavya also are written in the Kotte period. So when you gather historical information from a certain historical source, there are certain matters that should be considered when we gather information about certain literary sources. The time in which source was written. The time is very important. According to the time, according to the era, we can collect certain facts according to the time. The author of the source, the objective of the author. So these things While considering these things, we can assure about the trustworthiness of the provided information, the way in which facts are obtained for the source, whether these are trustworthy, whether these are accurate. We can consider those things by paying our attention on these matters. And there are certain foreign sources also, foreigners who were spending their time in Sri Lanka. They also compose certain books with the important historical information. Chinese sources, Arabian, Portuguese, Holland and English sources are there. So you know the travel of Tero Pahi and Tero's traveling accounts. He has mentioned a lot of information regarding the ancient Sri Lanka at that time. Ibn Battuda's traveling accounts, Ribeiro's books on Sri Lanka, the book of Philippus, the Sri Lankan Chronicle of Bladius, Robert Knox, the books of Robert Knox. So if the translation is Ida Heladival, these things are very important foreign literary sources. So the archaeological sources, that is the next most important source of historical records, archaeological sources. So when you consider about these archaeological sources, epigraphy are very important. So epigraphy, those things are written on the stones according to the shape of the stone. They have considered the shape of the stone and these epigraphy are created. These are written on stones, clay slabs, walls, copper plates, golden plates, wood and urns. So these epigraphy are written on these types of things according to the shape of the surface. And inscriptions, there are different types of inscriptions which provide very important historical information. Cave inscriptions, rock inscriptions, pile inscriptions, slab and seat inscriptions. Writings are inscribed according to the shape of the stones. So these inscriptions are also important. We can gather certain information about this from these inscriptions. Cave, rock, pillar, slab and seat inscriptions. So there are certain records written on these types of inscriptions. Records on offering premises to temples. Those days, you know, the kings have offered premises for the temples, for the use of the temples. So the temples had got a certain income from those lands or the buildings. Those were the use of the temples. So these records are written in these types of epigraphy or certain inscriptions. Records on informing government laws to people. Those days the books were not used, so the government informations which are useful for the people were written in these inscriptions. So anyone can read it freely. The information is there. The laws, the matters of the matters which records about the government matters. Records about charging taxes, trading, forgiving conflicts and appreciating services of people. Those matters are also written in these inscriptions. The taxes, the methods of taxing, trading activities, the laws regarding trade, forgiving conflicts, appreciating services of people, those are mentioned there. And the coins, that is another important archaeological source, the coins which were used in certain time periods. According to the time period of the coin, we can identify many matters. The oldest coin found in Sri Lanka is the Kahapan, Puran or Dharana. Those are the other names used for this oldest coin. And Tuska and Swastika coins, they are also very important. Lakshmi coins and Roman, Chinese and Arabian Indian coins are also found in Sri Lanka, because these Roman, Chinese, Indian traders, they had come to Sri Lanka during the ancient times, and so because of that it's a very good evidence to show that these traders had come to Sri Lanka. These are the foreign archaeological sources. This comes under foreign archaeological sources. The coins of these certain Roman, Chinese and Indian, Arabian countries. From that also we can gather a lot of information. The era, the kings, or the value of the coins, the metal used, what is the metal used to produce the coin. Some are silver coins, gold coins, bronze coins were there. The symbols which are carved in these coins, these are also very important. And ancient ruin, that is another important aspect of gathering historical information. Ancient ruins, ancient buildings, stupas, stone pillars, tanks and ponds, they also provide a lot of information. The era of construction, the kings and the objectives or the purposes of constructing these types of stupas, the metal or the raw materials used in constructing, the related tradition. Many information can be discovered by these ancient buildings, stupas, stones and pillars. Ruins help us to gain clear knowledge on the creative abilities, most of all the creativity of the people and the influence of the tradition. Sometimes most of the stupas, stone pillars, they display the Indian architecture, South Indian architecture, the technology used, the skills of the technology, building designing, the designs of the building and the certain things that are used, certain designs which are related to different traditions. Architecture, craftsmanship, ability to conserve the environment and water management. So these matters are also considered. These types of information are also discovered by these ancient ruins. Water management, there you have studied in your previous lessons. In ancient people, ancient irrigation activities are at a very advanced level. The water management, the distribution of water through canals and all the other technological methods used in water management. Ancient sluice, the breakwater, the sluice, and the canal system, distribution of water, those things are very important when you talk about the water management. And I think you can remember about the water technology used in Sigiriya water gardens, creation of artificial water springs. Very important matters, very important information can be discovered through this. And when you talk about some other historical sources, there are certain copper plates or inscriptions which provide many important information. Panakaduwa copper plate is one of the important copper plate which provides certain information related to the ancient period. So this is written in order of this King Vijayabahu I. So it is the information provided is the granting to an officer granted to an officer called Sitnaru Budalna with gratitude for his loyalty. While King Vijayabahu was preparing for the kingship, his Sitnaru Budalna is the person who had guided him, and he has become the armed general of this King Vijayabahu I. He had helped him for these matters when King Vijayabahu was facing certain difficulties before becoming the king. So this Sitnaru Budalna, in order to pay the gratitude to this person, this Panakaduwa copper plate had been constructed by the guidance of King Vijayabahu I. So this provides a lot of information regarding this era of King Vijayabahu I. So these are very important historical sources. This Galpatha inscription, that is also another important inscription. Galpatha inscription is made by King Kirtisri Nishankamalla. It is located in Polonnaruwa. So these things also provide very valuable historical information for us, as these things come under archaeological sources. And this is made by King Kirtisri Nishankamalla and located in Polonnaruwa. There are certain different media of epigraphy, so you can go through this and get certain information about the inscriptions. King Nishankamalla's Galpatha inscription, that is a good example which provides a very valuable historical information. And the walls, Sigri graffiti it told is also providing a very lot of information regarding the artistic skills, the color combination, and the objective of drawing. Lot of information can be discovered from there. Copper plates are there, Panakadu copper plate. Golden plates, Vallipuram golden plate, that is located in Jaffna. Writings on wooden post of Ambekka Devale. It is constructed during the Gampala era, Ambekka Devale. And the clay slabs, scripts written on tiles and bricks. This comes under clay slabs. And urns, script written on clay pots and begging bowls. Begging bowls, the monks use these bowls, the plate of the monk, the begging bowls. There also they have written certain certain important points. Scripts written on clay pots and begging bowls. So these are very good examples for different medias of epigraphy. There are certain cave inscriptions, rock inscriptions, pillar inscriptions, slab and sheet inscriptions. In cave drip ledges of the caves, in the drip ledges of the caves also they have used those certain edges to write important information regarding the period, regarding the era, or maybe the religious matters, maybe about the king's instructions or the government laws of taxing, and maybe about the grants, maybe regarding the grants for the temples given by the palace, king's palace. And drawings, sculpture and antiques, these are also very important. These are helpful to gain information about various aspects of the ancient people. So by the drawings and by the sculpture and by these antiques we can gather information. The aspects of the people can be known. The clothes of the people, the arts, the skills used, and the jewelry, using colors, hairstyles, beauty culture, their creativity, their economic level, those things can be identified by this. And by these antiques, it helps to understand different aspects like skills, their skills, abilities, the culture, the foreign relations, and the coins are also very important to study about the ancient economical matters. So this is a picture of a coin which is used in the medieval era. This is called the medieval golden coin. So it shows this produced by gold, and there are certain carvings, symbols on the coin. These are also very important to understand about the economical matters which took place during the ancient period. And there are certain importances of learning history. So you might think that why we learn history. So the proper understanding of society and the world in which one lives. So we will get a proper understanding about the society. The activities of the ancient people, the things that they did, the special things, the special skills of the ancient people. Constructing a future by understanding the present through the past experiences. So you can you can get some knowledge, get some advice, get some guidance from the past activities and find solutions for the matters at present. Reorganizing the national identity, very important. Reorganizing the national identity is very important because one's dignity, the national identity depends on the historical and cultural matters which exist in the society. Ancient irrigation civilization and these ancient religious buildings, religious culture, the brave activities of the forefathers, all those things are the main aspects which create the national identity towards the nation. Respecting the culture of others and tolerating different views. So we can, if you know about the cultural activities or other different beliefs of the different cultures, we can we can have a mutual understanding about them, and the society will be peaceful when each other tolerate on others' cultural and social aspects. This is also very important for a person. And there are certain activities about the Greek sources. So these are some foreign literary sources. Greek sources are there. De Mundo by Aristotle. This is a Greek literary source. Roman source. Naturalist Historia by Pliny. Approach of Geography by Ptolemy. Those are the Roman sources. Chinese sources. The book on records of Hausen Tang Tero. And Portuguese sources are there. The book about Sri Lanka by Father Penraro Queiroz. This comes under the literary sources. So you can get the information about the literary source from these things. This comes under the literary sources. And protecting archaeological sources, which it is very important to protect the archaeological sources. Otherwise, these things will be destroyed due to natural causes or due to constructional activities. So these things should be protected for the future generation, because all the important historical events and all the respect or all these the dignity of the country depends on these historical sources. Speedy urbanization, expansion of settlements, constructing roads, buildings and agricultural activities may cause the destroyment of these historical sources. So we must protect these for our future generation. Different types of ancient marks are there in history. Now still these marks are seen in ancient buildings. Sun and the moon, they have used the sun and the moon since ancient times, because it is believed that before the Buddhism was introduced, they have worshipped sun, moon and some other natural sources, worship those sources as gods. The Palmyra fan, bow, arrow, conch shell, ox hoof, tusker step, these are some ancient marks. So they have symbolized certain things while using these marks, and some messages were conveyed by these marks because they didn't use a language at that time. Moonstone and Guardstone is also another important historical archaeological source. So about the moonstone you may have studied. The moonstone is used in Anuradhapura and Polonnaru eras, and guardstones are there. Still the guardstones, moonstones are there in Buddhist historical places. Right, so I hope that you understood about these matters that I discussed about the literary sources. So by the usage of these sources we can gather a lot of information about the proud history of Sri Lanka. There I have mentioned certain questions. We can answer these things using the text. What are the information mentioned in Mahavansa and Deepavansha? Who is the author of Mahavansa? Write examples for the Hatan and Prasasti. And also you have to identify this picture. Write notes about the following image. So there are certain information mentioned in Mahavansa and Deepavansha. So Deepavansha is the oldest historical source. Deepavansha consists of historical information of this country up to the end of King Mahasen's ruling period. And also it mentioned about this Buddhist order, Buddha Sasana. Information regarding the Buddha Sasana is mentioned in Deepavansha, and it mentions historical information of the country up to the end of the rule of King Mahasena. And Mahavansa is the most important historical text which is used to record historical information in Sri Lanka. Mahavansa was written by Mahanama Thero, and this Mahavansa is continuously recording the important historical events of Sri Lanka. So it mentions about the historical information of this country from the arrival of the Lord Buddha to Sri Lanka up to the end of the ruling time of King Mahasena. From the arrival of Lord Buddha to Sri Lanka up to the end of the ruling time of King Mahasena is mentioned in Mahavansa. Right. So examples for Hatan Kavya and Prasasti Kavya. Tarakumba Sirita is a very famous Prasasti Kavya. It was sung to appreciate King Parakram Bahu the Great. And Hatan Kavya, Sitavaka Hatana, Constantine Hatana, English Hatana, while these Sri Lankan people were going against the battle of the Portuguese, mostly against Portuguese and Dutch, these Hatan Kavya was sung in order to encourage the battlefield. Sitavaka Hatana is a very important battle which took place between the Portuguese and the Sitavaka kingdom. And Constantine Hatana, Constantine Disa is a leading Portuguese general. He was killed in the battle. These types of Hatan Kavya is used to appreciate the kings, encourage the battlefield. Prasasti Kavya is used to appreciate. So this picture which is included in this question number 5, you can identify that picture. It is a very important ancient sculpture, the man and the head of the horse in Isramuni temple in Anuradhapura. It is located in the Isramuni temple in Anuradhapura, the man and the head of the horse. It belongs to the 7th or 8th century AD. It represents, this sculpture represents the god Agni. God Agni by head of the horse, and image of the man is there in this sculpture. It is constructed, it is inscribed on a rock which is located in Isramuni temple. So I hope you have gathered certain information regarding this lesson. So read this and practice the things. Thank you very much.